This is Peta. You may also know them as that one company who's earned the reputation of trying to do good things in the worst way possible. They're also known for games like Pokemon Black and Blue, Cooking Mama Mama Kills Animals, and classics like J-Lo Monster and Fur Game and a bunch more. So they've yet to touch this game with a parody yet. Before that happens though, I want to be able to show you guys that you can play Palworld through the standards of Peta. Now I'm not affiliated or part of this organization, and I'll prove it. I like eating meat, and I like doing this. And you know why? Because it's a game. Supposedly, Peta made a quote-unquote vegan guide, which isn't much of a guide, it's just literally 3 steps. Step 1, gather wood and stone. Step 2, hide like a little bitch. And step 3, live life like a hermit. I'm joking. I know it's satire. So I'm gonna try and make a better guide, okay? First things first, I made my world and called it cruelty-free, because what kind of world are we gonna live in, right? As for my name, it didn't matter too much, so I went with whatever came to my mind. I started my adventure by loading in, and my Stone Age switch started malfunctioning. Everyone's first intuition when they begin the game is to unlock fast travel and fist a dino to capture it. But instead, I just fist the rocks and trees for the resources, because remember, we can't harm any living animal. I don't think we need to state the obvious, but according to what Peta says for animals, I can't eat, wear, use for entertainment, or abuse in any other way. But I'm sure we can find loopholes. Anyways, I did the basic setup and unlocked a few necessities. You might think the balls aren't, but I assure you, I have a reason for those. And it's not because we can't be left out with no balls. Now we can't capture animals and make them our buddy, but it doesn't mean you can't do that to humans. Not that I'm forcing either to do anything. You see, it says I can't harm humans, but it doesn't say I can't capture them. Also, they aren't hostile when you do capture them, so it's not like they dislike it. They're humans. They can communicate with us. I was always the adventurous type, never wanting to be held down by anything, so I went down the yellow dirt road, looting a chest along the way and made a little base here for the time being, near another teleport point. Here's where I met my first human, who told me about his sad life. I threw a ball at his back, but I failed to capture him. He started struggling with his mental state by running into the side of a wall. So I left him alone, not because I feel bad, but because I got better stuff to do. As I continued downward, I unlocked another teleport point, and this was where I came across another camp of poachers. Each of these camps pop up occasionally with a random pal in a cage. This gave me an option to free the pal and have it join my party. According to Peta, you can actually have pets. I know, I'm surprised too. Contrary to myth, Peta does not want to confiscate beloved, well-cared-for companions and set them free. We encourage people who have time, money, patience, commitment, love for an animal for life to adopt one from a shelter, etc. You get the point. I tried to go in sneakily Mission Impossible style by crouching and climbing the wooden walls, but it didn't work so well, so I rushed to the cage to free it while getting shot at. My first pal. A penguin. I know it says captured, but that'd be like letting a prisoner free into another prison, and besides, I gave the pal an option. When I opened the cage for it to go free, it instead went with me. I continued my adventure running away from camp, collecting more crap off the ground, opening chests, taking ancient iPhones from pedestals, taking pal souls. There's nothing against finding random pals on the ground, okay? I came across a camp with a merchant to sell a few things and headed out even further. Across the bridge was another poacher camp, but also another pal for my party, a cat. The guards were somewhat distracted by the space slugs that wandered into their camp. In the preceding Fallout, I tried to capture a human, which didn't work out so well, even after I kept chucking balls at it. To rub salt in an open wound, while fleeing I spotted a very shiny big chunky boy, so majestic with its big wood coat. But I had to leave it. So, for you to feel my pain, I'll let the sound of it drift off as I get further and further away from it. On the flip side though, I found more balls. As I made my way northeast, I went into an abandoned mineshaft and found a man in a gimp suit who sold pals. Unfortunately, it's pretty obvious I can't buy them from the black market trader, but as long as I, get it from a shelter or a pal trader, it's okay. No breeders though, that's certainly not allowed. As a parting gift, I threw a ball at his back, and he retaliated by throwing lead at me. I crawled into a crack in the side of a mountain, and found that if I uncrouched in a spot there, I'd have the perfect base. Not only does this protect my pals from danger, it also protects pals from invading and getting hurt. So I put 2 pals in my base, a human and an elephant. The way Noah's Ark was intended, if a palocalypse were to happen. So you might be thinking, you're forcing a pal to work, or at least that's what Peta might think. However, I'm not forcing it to do anything. It's one of my faithful companions that live with me who decided to do this on their own accord. In this game, pals can do anything on their own, automatically, without me assigning them to do anything. As far as a good home goes, it's well fortified. My companion has a big fruit salad, a comfy fiber bed, and the greatest glitched view any pal can ever lay their eyes on. One problem though is I can never sleep unless I die, because that's a permanent sleep. Seriously though, the real reason is because human beds are made of wool, while pet beds are not. Wool is also used in a bunch of other items too, like clothes, and according to Peta, that's a no-no. This also means I can't upgrade the base past level 2, so I can't put more than 2 pals at my base. So a lot of areas are also locked out since I'll either freeze or boil to death. However, there is one way to manipulate temperature without clothes, and that's with a torch. This means that depending on the time of day, or nights, I can visit the desert and the mountaintops. Within reason. I came across some Free Pal Alliance cult members, and they started shooting at pals. You gotta hand it to them though, they got that free part down. They're freeing pals from the shackles of life. All this seems somewhat familiar, and I can't really pinpoint why though. There were so many different biomes from beaches, forests, bamboo groves, plains, to grassy hillsides. I explored more of the map, and I liberated pals whom many were kept in a single cage guarded by blind stormtroopers. After I kept going back to my base a few times to unload the things from my travels, I finally got raided by some lizards. They couldn't figure out how to get into my base, so they got defeated by their own stupidity. Some poachers were more dangerous than others, and some had the help of wild pals. Oftentimes I had to wait till the sun went down to retrieve my belongings due to the hot or cold weather. Remember how I said there wasn't a way to wear clothing? I kinda lied, there actually is. But in order to get them, I had to journey over to the farthest ends of the Earth. Or not Earth, the world, where the introverts live. Far away from people, which seems about right. Most of the mainland are filled with crazy cult members who shoot on sight anyways. The biggest hurdle was walking all the way over there and dying from hostile pals, then having to repeat that walking process all over again. Now the main reason why I headed here first was because of the heat-resistant undershirt, which protects me from weather for my next location, which is also equally as annoying to travel to. Why is everything so hostile here? All this walking sucks. As much as I'd like to ride something, I can't, because according to Peta, that's cruel, and animals don't want that. So I had to walk an hour across the map for this shit. Here I grabbed the thermal undershirt, allowing me to travel to the snowy mountaintops without taking any damage there. There's nothing else you can do in the game other than mine rocks and continue the PAL saving service if you're into that. As much as I'd want to continue and get gunned down while rescuing pals, it's fucking boring! Was it worth it though? Hell no, I missed out on a lucky llama! The lesson to be learned in all this is play the game any way you want and don't get butthurt over a game. It's meant to be fun. If you do get butthurt, keep it to yourself because no one wants to hear your crap. Lastly, I'll leave you off with an interesting thing I learned from Peta. According to the website, you should feed chickens their own eggs, and quote, including the shell so they get back nutrients. That's kinda fucked up, because it's like, why lay the eggs in the first place? It's like if a human had to eat their own feces for nutrients.